Yes, people. We are back live. We are back live on the Sarcasm City TV YouTube for another Sarcasm City TV special. For those that haven't seen the Sarcasm City TV specials before, it's where I sit down with and have a one-on-one with the biggest and best content creators in the game, people. Big up to everyone who's been supporting these over the international break. Yesterday, I had rants on. Obviously, you know it was going to be crazy with rants. The day before, I had troops on as well, people. And this show here, not only is the one-on-one about sitting down with the biggest and best content creators and speaking on their team, it's also giving them their flowers as well. Like, I'm all for that. Regular watchers of the channel will know, and that I state that all the time. Give people their flowers while they can still smell them. And that's what this show is all about, and also entertainment for you lot as always as well. But please make sure, whether you're watching this live right now or watching this back, hit the like button on the video. Vitally important you do that. Hit that like button on the video, share this across all the socials, and subscribe to the channel Sarcasm City TV. And when you subscribe, make sure you hit the notification bell. I know some of you lot are not getting notifications. I got told that yesterday. I got told that the day before as well. So what you lot can do, make sure you follow Sarcasm City TV on Twitter and follow it on Instagram as well. Make sure you follow it on both, and then that way you will get notified, because I always post every time we go live here on the YouTube and the Twitch. But this content creator right here needs no introduction, but I'm gonna give them their introduction anyway, because it's all about giving them their flowers. One of the best content creators out here, period. Forget the fact that I'm not gonna say, oh, one of the best female content creators. No. One of the best content creators, period, out here. That's why you see her on many channels, whether it's here, whether it's Never a Foul, whether it's on your TV. Many a time I see her on my TV screaming about handball. You know what I'm saying? A regular on the overlap as well. And the fact that she's a regular on Sky Sports on the overlap is testament to her knowledge of the game and how good she is as well. And she also does great work on her own channel that she needs to get back to as well. So we're going to try and bully her back into that as well. But welcome to the stream. Kendall is in the building. How you doing, Kendall? You all right?
Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm very good, thank you. That was the best introduction anyone's ever given me. So I'm gonna get you to write like me a little advertisement every time I go for like a little role now. Just
got you. 100%. 100%. I got you. Definitely afterwards, but welcome. Good to have you on here as well. Great time to be a Newcastle fan. You lot in the chat as well, get your questions in, but great time to be a Newcastle United fan at the minute, from the takeover up until the great season you've had so far as well. But we'll start there. Will Newcastle United finish in the top 4? We'll start there.
I've been pretty consistent, I would say, throughout the season, and I have said no. I think they'll finish top 6. I think 5th, that's where we'll finish. But I just think that when it comes down to it, there's teams like, I know Tottenham, probably everyone's saying they've had a bad season and stuff, and they're having a bit of a nightmare at the minute, in terms of like managers and things like that. And then Liverpool obviously haven't had a great season, but I just think they've got like match winners that we maybe don't have, like quality match winners. But I think that, you know, our team's amazing, and if we finish 5th, friggin' hell, that's unbelievable. Like, we haven't finished that high in the table since 2012. So for me, like, that's insane. Like, last year we were bottom of the table, we were 20th in the Premier League. So yeah, I'm more than happy to be a Newcastle fan at the moment. And you've known me, what, probably 3-ish years now, and
yeah,
so
like
you've
that.
seen like the bottom when I have been at the bottom, under Bruce Ball and everything like that. So yeah, it's nice to enjoy it now.
Yeah, you disrespecting one of our legends all the time, and that we cool, but I didn't appreciate that. Consistently just dissing Brucey, you know. That's one of my guys.
He absolutely deserved it at the time. Absolutely deserved it.
Yeah, the football wasn't the best. So you said there, and very honest in regards to Newcastle not finishing in the top 4, because you don't have as many match winners as other teams. Who do you actually think will finish in the top 4, though? Who do you think will get that spot?
I think it'll probably still be Tottenham.
Interesting.
I know everyone's kind of putting Liverpool in. Liverpool do sometimes put a decent run towards the end of the season together. And it wouldn't actually shock me if they got in there instead, because Spurs might crumble at this point. But I just think we're at the business end of the season now. It's make or break for Spurs, really. If they don't get a new manager in, which they're probably not going to at the moment, looks like Steele until the end of the season. It could either be like new manager bounce or the very opposite. But yeah, I just think it'll probably be how it is now. I think the top 6 will probably stay similarly around what it is now, unless Brighton, who have had a very, very, very good season, get 6th. So yeah.
It's crazy that you said Spurs because, like, obviously, you mentioned it, and I was going to mention it in regards to Conte being sacked, the new manager bounce. It's looking like it's going to be Stellini to the end of the season. They have match winners in Kane. Son's not been in the best of form either. But I'm surprised to hear you say Spurs, or even over at Brighton, for instance. I don't even think Spurs fans are too confident in regards.
No, I don't think they are. But I don't know. It's just Spurs, isn't it? They're so Spursy. Like, that's just what they'll do. They'll have like an absolute horrendous time, and everything will be going wrong. But that's just what they'll do because they are just so Spurs. They'll like go and lose like 5-0 to Bournemouth, and then beat Man City 2-1 the next week. Like, that's just what they are. So you can never like discount them out. And I just, to be fair to them, they are only 2 points ahead of us at the moment. And I think we've got either 1 or 2 games in hand on them still. So I don't think Brighton will get top 4 because, again, I think they've got a very good squad and I think they have had a fantastic season, like even better than any season they've had under Potter before. But I just think, again, it's just when you've got like Champions League experience and like caliber of European football, like it's really hard to not be in Europe, like especially when you're in and around there. So that's just why. But that's maybe me being a little bit pessimistic and like a little bit like realistic. Because I mean, to be fair to us, like we've been in top 4 pretty much most of the season up until the last 2-3 games. So if we get it, then we would deserve it on merit as well. But absolutely. I just think when it comes down to it, like we just don't have that like winning factor, hence why we've drawn so many games. We've drawn as many as we've lost, as many as we've won, sorry. So we just don't have that like cutting edge at this point in time, I don't think. But the momentum's back with us now. Do you know what gets on my nerves? Every single time that we've got momentum, friggin' international break. Like, just get out of my sight. Like, I literally hate it. I can't stand it, right? Especially now, because we were doing so well at the beginning of the season. We were like proper class and that. We were like winning every week. It was great. It was like proper class. We never lost, right? At all. And we've lost 3 times this year. Once to Man City, twice to Liverpool, annoyingly. Everyone knows my thoughts on Liverpool.
We're going to get to that. Well, go on. I'm all for some Liverpool slander. Go on, carry on.
Honestly, so then obviously World Cup happened. That was just fantastic for us, like brilliant news. And then we came back after Christmas. We were absolutely crap. Couldn't score a goal if we even tried. We were just drawn every single game. Football wasn't great. And then now we've just got back to winning ways. I think we've won 2 on the bounce. Nottingham Forest and Wolves. And then here we go. Let's go back to waistcoat ball. Lovely. That's really what I want to see for 2 weeks. Gareth Southgate football. That is absolutely everything that I want to see. It really truly is.
Sorry, people cursing's hilarious, but you see when you have it in the Geordie accent, it makes it even funnier to me. Like when you curse it, like so that's why I'm over here cracking up. But you mentioned it. But the thing is with waistcoat ball, I like that in regards to Southgate. There is other international football you can watch. You don't have to watch Gareth Southgate.
That's very true. And to be fair, I did just vaguely watch England. I watched so much international football this break. I've watched all sorts. I watched like El Salvador versus Bolivia, which was very random because there was like nobody in the stadium. There was like no one there. It was probably bizarre. It was like there was like 5 people. I've watched Jamaica. I've watched some like of the AFCON nations. I think I watched Morocco and Brazil friendly randomly. I've absolutely watched all sorts of international football. But yeah, it's not a great thing to be subject to.
It's not. International football is terrible. Yeah, like I think I watched Italy, England. And that was pretty much it. That's all I've watched. You know what I'm saying? Big up to Jazzy saying should have watched the AFCON qualifiers, always interesting games. I just can't get with international football outside of major tournaments. If it's not the World Cup or the Euros, I'm not with it.
I watched Guinea-Bissau beat Nigeria, but then obviously on the reverse fixture, Nigeria won. I didn't watch the second fixture, I only watched the first fixture, but yeah, I've watched like just a couple. I'm one of these people though, like I'm stupid. If I can't sleep, I'll go and watch like the Argentinian 3rd division, like on the stream.
You're a true woman of football. That's what that is.
Well, I just do it. It's just like, I don't know, it's like my comfort blanket. I'll just watch like random stuff. I always have done that since like streaming became a thing. I've always watched random stuff. So yeah, I think it's just like a comfort blanket for us at this point.
Now you're a woman of football, so I respect that in regards to just watching random football. Well, with the El Salvador Bolivia game, if the stadium was empty, that tells you all you need to know. That people from El Salvador and
But I think it was
Bolivians
like, do you
didn't
know
want to
what though?
watch that.
I did
Go
some
on.
like little bit of research afterwards, and I think it was like in Saudi Arabia or something. I think the game was just randomly in like a random place that wasn't, but obviously Bolivia or El Salvador. So
That makes no sense.
it was
What
just a
someone in
bit
the chat
random.
will know. You lot continue to bump up
Do
the
you know
likes
what?
of
Now
your.
I'm thinking about it. Like I might have
Go on.
watched that many games. I don't even think that maybe El Salvador was against Bolivia. I think it was like Uzbekistan against Bolivia or something. But whatever. It was like whatever. It was definitely Bolivia. I'm sure it was Bolivia. But I've just watched that many. I just don't even know. It's like my brain's just conglomerating. Y'all giving us all like big like props, like, oh, this girl knows that stuff, and I'm just like actually I actually don't even know if that was the game.
Hey, the fact that you went to watch it is why I give you your props, because I would not even go and find. I know you found a stream for that. I know that wasn't on TV or something like that. You had to go searching for that. So I respect that. You know what I'm saying? Because I certainly would not. I'd be like, yeah, this is not it. I'll find something else to watch. I'll find something else to indulge in terms of what's going on. Big up, Jez. I see you lot. Make sure you bump up the likes, you lot. Make sure you bump up the likes. Subscribe to the channel if you are new as well. It is road to 6K. We're closing in on 6K actually. We're like, geez, we're only like 14 away or something like that from 6K. So get us up to 6K, people. Big up to Tiny as well, who says, big up Flawless and Kendall. Love the content from Botswana, Africa.
That's so crazy, right? Because literally today I've just been looking at the Botswana Premier League. Because here we go again, random football. Because they have got the best names football teams anywhere in the world. Okay. They've got Prisons FC, Prisons 11 versus Police 11.
Jesus.
In the league. They've got the Holy Ghost versus 11 Angels or something like that. They've got security systems. Honestly, they're like the best. Go and search the Botswana Premier League. Honestly, they have got the best names of any football teams in the land.
Botswana, right, let me actually do. I can't believe this is in my search engine. Yeah, you're right. They got Gunners versus Prison 11. They have Holy Ghost versus Police 11. They have let's see, 11 Angels versus Nico United. Let's see what else they got. They got a team called Rollers.
Exactly. It's just like the best names ever. So shout out Botswana, man.
That is crazy that you know that. Big up to you as well, Tiny. We probably indulge in this because you're over there, so I appreciate it 100%. How did you find the Botswana Premier League? What happened? What happened?
I just find random stuff like football and stuff. I spend, honestly, it's like I'm strange. It's just like an obsession. Like everything, like my waking minutes are like football related. So I just search everything to do with stuff. And I've started doing like a little bit of commentary lately for a really big radio show in Nigeria called Brilla FM. So I do like a little bit of match Brilla, I think Brilla or Brilla, Brilla FM, in Nigeria. And I've been like searching a lot of it's regular like, top 5 European leagues that I commentate on, but just because of that I've been like talking to different people and from different places, and I've been searching loads of different things. So and then I seen a little thing on Twitter the other day. It was like, it was a screenshot of Prisons 11 versus Police 11, and I was like, I've got to look into this. So yeah, I went and looked into it and found all the rest of the the names, which I thought was great.
That is nuts. And congrats again. That's something I forgot to add. I've seen that your accolade list is so long, the commentary as well, because I've seen you post about that. So
do you know what? I honestly think like I'm sure in my late 20s that I've got ADHD at this point. Like this is a genuine thing, right? It's like not even a joke. I honestly think I do, because I can't be like, I just can't sit and do one thing. I have to be like in everything. Like I hate this phrase, like, you know, fingers in all the pies. Like I literally have to, I can't just concentrate on one thing. I've got to do commentary, I've got to do like research, analysis, scouting, like podcasts, just everything. I've just got to do everything. And I just think it's something to do with that. But I have got OCD, to be fair. I've been diagnosed with that for like 5 years. And apparently OCD and ADHD come hand in hand. So I think.
But it helps in the field you're in. That's why you're doing so much.
That's probably very true. Actually, it's probably a good thing that I'm interested in so much stuff.
It is, because people that's drive. The thing you're talking about there, having fingers in all pies, that's a drive and willing to do well and going above and beyond. Because like if you're researching the Botswanan Football League, you are a football fan. Like through and through. Because there's probably people in Botswana who are like, let me find a Premier League link. I don't want to watch it. I don't want to watch Prison FC versus, you know what I'm saying, Police FC. And bear in mind, people, when I say those two names for those that might have joined, they're genuine names. I've Googled this. Google the Botswanan league. There's a team called Gunners who are bottom of the league as well. Legit. It's crazy. You know what I'm saying?
It's like alternate reality. The Gunners are top of the league in the Premier League and the bottom of the league in Botswana. So it might be like, you know, I don't know, like a weird omen. Can we get like a Newcastle, like Toon United, bottom of the league?
Crazy. That's what's going to happen. You know what I'm saying? One of the Premier League teams is going to end up touring over there at some point. It is 110%. Because we're talking about the Botswana League, I actually forgot where was we at? But this is Sarcasm City, people.
Newcastle.
This is where we're going to go. Yeah, somehow from Newcastle United going to finish in the top 4. We're talking about Gunners versus Ghost FC in the Botswana Premier League. This is Sarcasm City TV in a nutshell, people. Nowhere else do you hear these type of conversations. 100%. A big up to Alwyn as well, who says, LOLO, when does the Champions League come to the Northeast? We're going to get into that because you said, so where do you actually see Newcastle finishing? 5th or 6th?
Yeah, 5th.
5th. Which then would put you in the Europa League. So, all right, let's fast forward. Let's say that happens. How would you want to see Eddie Howe approach the Europa League alongside the Premier League doing Thursday, Sunday?
Yeah, I think it'll be difficult. We'll have to have a massive summer because, in my opinion, this is going to be our, not rebuild, because I guess we've kind of been doing that, but this is going to be our clear out summer. You know, where like we just kind of get rid of. We've already kind of started with Chris Wood and John Joe Shelby. To be fair, I wouldn't have even got rid of John Joe Shelby, but he was the one who wanted to leave, so fair enough. But yeah, I think this summer will be like our clear out season. We'll be getting rid of the likes of like Kieran Clark and, you know, Jamal Lascelles maybe. Actually, Jamal Lascelles could be a squad player, I guess, for now. But we're gonna
let's go there. Who would you get rid of? Go through that. Continue to go through that. Who else would you get rid of?
Who would I get rid of? Probably a good. There's probably players though, like Longstaff and Murphy, who I would have got rid of before, but I wouldn't now because they've just improved so much. But yeah, there's loads. There's like Jeff Hendrick. There's probably people who are like, what, he really plays for Newcastle because they've just been disappearing for so long. So yeah, Paul Dummett, Jamal Lewis, Kieran Clark. Who else is there? Probably like the likes of Matty Longstaff, obviously Jeff Hendrick. And then winger-wise and stuff, we don't really have that many anyway. So we're going to at least need 4 first-team players this summer. So probably we'll need another centre back because with like Botman and Shah, but then you kind of go down to Lascelles and then.
So you want another centre back, but do you want another centre back instead of Botman or Shah? Do you want someone to be a squad player?
I would probably have another centre back, not instead of Shah, but at least better than Shah. Like at least on Shah's level or better than, because I think Shah's like early 30s now, like probably very early 30s. He's either 30 or 31, and that by no means that is old in especially in football now. No, but just kind of we need someone of like Botman's caliber, of Botman's age.
He's 31.
Yeah,
right?
So like, I mean, Botman's 23, I think. So we need someone kind of on his caliber of his age, but that's very hard to find because Sven Botman is like an unbelievable centre back.
Yeah, he's 23.
Yeah, we're going to need at least one fullback, at least one.
Left back or right back?
Left. It depends because we've kind of only got Trippier at right back. Manquillo, he's another one who's probably going to end up leaving in the summer. My brother always laughs because Manquillo's a player that I just love for no reason. I just love him. Like, you know, one of them like random players. He's like not good, but I just like him. You just
like him. What did he play in the Botswana League or something like that? Is that what it is? It might be that. You know what I'm saying? You know what? It makes sense. You liking random players when you talk about the football that you like. So that makes sense. Just randomly liking Manquillo, same way just randomly watching El Salvador.
Like Salomon Kalou's like in my top 10 all-time favourite footballers.
Really? Salomon Kalou? And you've seen ballers as well. That's the crazy part.
I know, I said.
You've seen legit ballers.
Do you know why though? We'll get back to Newcastle in a minute, just as I'll explain it, because people will be like, who is this? Like, what is she on about? I really liked him. I was a big fan of Chelsea and Liverpool's players when I was younger. So I love Drogba. Obviously, everybody who knows me will know that Fernando Torres is my like top 1 footballer of all time. And I love Xabi Alonso. He's on my top 10 as well. And I just loved players like that. And Solomon Kalou, I really liked him as a footballer. And then I once read like an article. It was like in an old like Shoot magazine, if anyone remembers that when we were kids.
Shoot.
Yeah, Shoot. And it was like he used a lot of his wages.
Yo, your accent be cracking me up. I'm sorry.
He used a lot of his wages to buy like to fund a school and buy shoes for his local community. And that for me was like, from then I was like, oh, I love him. Like he does charity work. So from then on, he's always been like one of my favorite footballers. So yeah, I just like random footballers. But yeah, and I think we need a DM 100%. Because I think Bruno's better up the like as an 8 rather than a 6. Yeah. I just think he's so creative. We definitely need a DM. And at least another winger and then another striker. So I think that's where we're at really. So yeah.
So when you say another winger and another striker, so you said obviously a centre back to like either, so maybe a first team centre back,
yeah,
and maybe and then you're saying a first team. You want a first team left back as well.
Well, maybe the full backs in terms of first team. I think obviously Trippier's extended his contract, and then we've got Dan Burn who can play there. We've got Matt Target who can play there. So maybe not a first team full back, but someone who will probably be first team in a season, or so. But the rest of them, I think we need someone who can like literally come into the first team now, really.
The first team, and then you're looking for a 6 to play alongside Bruno, and then you're looking for a winger. You said left or right? Are you looking at?
Probably right, because we've only kind of really got Alma on there. I mean, Gordon can kind of play both. We've got Jacob Murphy, we've got Saint Maximin, but I think for me, just probably the right, because Almiron again is very left-footed. He doesn't actually have a right foot, so he's very predictable on the right because he just cuts in. Everyone knows that he's going to cut in and shoot on his left, so it's like very predictable. So I think probably need a right winger. Very heavily linked with Moussa Diaby of Bayer Leverkusen. So yeah, and then striker, we let Chris Wood go, didn't replace him, and then Callum Wilson's just kind of been an absolute crock since the World Cup. So I just think it's about time that we got someone else to kind of help with Isak, really, who I rate massively, by the way.
The goal he scored against Forest was banging the volley. Yeah. I was super impressed because I watched that game and I was like, yeah. Like
he's so
that's
good.
A
he's
great
like,
finish.
I've rated him so highly for like a good few years though, since he was at Sociedad. I can't remember him much at Dortmund, but since he was at Real Sociedad, and I watch a lot of La Liga, and I've rated him very highly. And I got asked a lot when we signed him, like, what do you think he'll be like? And pretty much everything I said about him is like coming true. It was just the injury, and it's just so typical. He's never had an injury like longer than a couple of games, and he was out for like 3 months, like when he joined Newcastle. So it's just one of them things. Like, it's just Newcastle United that. But I just think he's so brilliant, and yeah, we would definitely need someone who can like at least play at his level.
Yeah, no, that's fair. It's true blue. This is actually a good question. Do you see Eddie Howe as the one who brings you titles, or is he the one who's going to lay the foundations for someone better to take it to the next level?
Yeah, I think he could bring us a title. I mean, we were so close not that long ago. I don't even mind talking about the Carabao Cup final, because for me, like, I've never seen my club in a cup final. Like, that was the first time.
Oh, was that the first time for you?
Yeah, that was the first time for me.
Yeah, it's the first time for you. Yeah,
we haven't been in a cup final since 1999, and I was 4, so I don't remember that. So yeah, I haven't seen us in a final. So that for me was amazing, and he was that close. And everyone keeps saying, like, you know, you're going to get a big boy manager like when the time comes and when it gets down to the nitty gritty. But Eddie Howe's proved that he can play with the big boys right now, and he's there based on merit, and he hasn't signed superstars, and he hasn't gone out of his way, you know, spend loads of money and do a Robinho Man City situation. We've signed really cleverly, haven't spent loads and loads of money. I mean, we spent more money than we've spent for God knows how long under Mike Ashley, but we've just signed really smart signings. And yeah, I honestly think that he could get us a title 100%.
Okay, that's high praise for him, because you mentioned there, and that was going to be one of the questions I was going to ask. As soon as you got taken over, everybody was expecting Newcastle, including myself, to go and spend big, but you seem to have done, well, not even seem to, you have done shrewd business. Like you said, the likes of Bruno G, Trippier, amongst more as well. What was you expecting, though, when you got taken over? Was you expecting the big money signings, or were you pleasantly surprised about the shrewd business you've done?
Oh, I was very pleasantly surprised. I didn't actually know how we were going to approach it, because, again, we've not been in that situation. And between 2010 and 2020, the owner input was actually £0 from Mike Ashley. It was like, that's genuine from like actual factual data from Swiss Ramble. It was £0 owner input. So I didn't know what was going to happen, and I knew just based on the fact of the way our takeover went and pre-takeover, just the opposition to it and the hoo-ha that all went on about it. I knew they were going to be really strict on us, so I wasn't actually expecting us to go out and spend loads of money on players. And then in the January we spent like very well. Like obviously we got Bruno for 35 million. We Trippier, who was 12 million, Dan Burn 13, Nick Pope was like 10. That was obviously in the summer. So we did like really good business. The only one that was a bit out of left field was Chris Wood for 25 million at the time. However, I understood it because it was to weaken Burnley at the time, which we could do because he had a release clause and they were our relegation rivals at that point. So, and down the line, look, Forest have now paid 15 million for him and he's out for the rest of the season. So for me, it's worked out perfectly for us. We couldn't have asked for any more really in that position. So yeah, I have been really, really impressed with how we've handled situations. January just gone was a weird one because we let John Joe Shelby go, didn't replace him, let Chris Wood go, didn't replace him, which I thought was quite strange because then we just got in Gordon instead for the first team, and Harrison Ashby, who's going to be like Trippier's understudy. So January was a weird one. I think for me, I maybe would have done more business, but I don't own a football club. I don't know better than Dan Ashworth. I don't know better than our owners. So yeah, we'll probably, maybe we were waiting for the summer to see where we would be, and see how the season was going to pan out before they actually invested heavily. But yeah, I'm very, very. We haven't made a bad signing yet, not one.
Yeah, all your signings seem to have hit.
Yeah,
that is one thing you've done, and the manner in which it's been done, I think, is very clever, and that's why I give credit to your recruitment team, Eddie Howe, and the players, because what you lot have done is, and you mentioned this in regards to you need to improve more so in your attacking areas, but you have a solid defensive base. So next season, if you add to that solid defensive base and add the offensive players in key areas, and especially a midfielder next to Bruno G, you could be a force. So let's say you do finish 5th. What would be your expectations for next season? Like, what's the next step up?
I would hope that we took Europa League seriously, because again, that's another chance. I know that sounds bizarre because obviously people are going to like, well, if you're in you like European football, you're going to take it seriously, but sometimes teams don't because they've got other things going on like in their leagues and other things to think about. I would hope that we went in it to win it. I must say, even if we finish 7th and get Conference League, I'll be happy because for me, that's like really big progress. I'll be a little bit disappointed in terms of where we've been all season to then drop at the last minute. I'll be like, it's a little bit disappointing, but I wouldn't be disappointed in terms of like the finish or getting Conference League because I'll be still quite happy with that. But yeah, I would hope that we went in it to win it and then obviously went to the next level next season and got Champions League. That's what I would really hope because we're way ahead of schedule, man. Like Howe, we were like 20th last Christmas.
Howe.
Like we were 20th
now
last Christmas.
You are way ahead of schedule because that was going to be my next question in regards to what was your expectations for this season, and I'm guessing that Eddie Howe has already overachieved.
My expectation was 10th. I've got predictions video that I did at the beginning of the season over on TikTok, and I said I would be happy if we got 10th. I'll be over the moon if we got 10th because for me that is massive. Like we've only like had maybe 2 top 10 finishes like in the last, probably since the last time we got Europe. I think we finished 10th under Rafa, I think, and then obviously like 5th under Alan Pardew. So yeah, we haven't finished in the top 10 very much. So for me, top 10 was like, wow, that's massive. And now we're just like, we've just exceeded that way ahead. And everyone's like, oh, you're overachieving. But for me, I don't think we're overachieving. I call it prematurely achieving because overachieving makes it sound like you've kind of got results when you didn't deserve them or you don't deserve to be where you are. But I do think that we do deserve to be where we are based on form. I mean, our form was like 3rd in the league from January up until this January. So, yeah, we deserve to be where we are. But
absolutely. But
I'd be happy with
it's
any.
yeah, I think it's fair to say you have overachieved, and that's giving credit because, like you said, 10th, like big up to Alam who said it. Kendall expected to be where Chelsea's at. Damn, like, and that's the facts of the matter. Big up to
Yeah.
Victor, I seen you as well. Who said big up Bruno G is world class as well, and he just went on to say, sorry, what was this? He said 10th. How ironic. Yeah, you Chelsea lot hold that. You know what I'm saying? And I'm glad you lot are in 10th, but definitely overachieved. Like in regards to if someone would have said to you at this point that going into April, you're pretty much guaranteed to get some form of Europe, which is incredible progress. And you're still in with a great chance to get Champions League. But even if you did finish in the Europa League spot, if you invest like you have, you would be one of the favorites going into that competition. And if you did target it, then not only is it a European trophy, which is absolutely major, it's also a way into the Champions League as well.
Yeah.
So then you can look at it in that sense. Before I continue, you lot, there's over 40 of you lot locked in. Big up. Make sure you hit the like button on the video. Like check 1212. Let's get up to 40 likes, people. Make sure you subscribe to the channel Sarcasm City TV. Subscribe to Kendall's channel. The link is in the title. Make sure you follow her across all her socials as well. And let me just get to this quickly. And to United for Life, who says big up Flawless. I didn't get a notification that you were live. YouTube is playing games. Yes, sometimes not everybody's getting notifications. So what need everyone to do, follow Sarcasm City TV on Twitter and follow Sarcasm City TV on Instagram. That way, and then when you hit the follow button on the Twitter, hit the notification bell. Same with the Instagram as well. Hit the notification bell on the stories. Because every time I go live, whether it's here on the YouTube or the Twitch, I always post about it. So you lot have no excuse or no reason to miss any shows. Make sure you following on the Twitter, following on the Instagram, Sarcasm City TV. The links for everything is underneath in the description. But you mentioned it there in regards to Kendall going back to Newcastle about targeting the Europa League or even the Conference League. Do you put the domestic cups up there? Obviously, you fell short, you know what I'm saying, in the Carabao Cup. So I know you don't really want to talk to me in particular about that, but you know what I'm saying. But would you like to target the domestic cups also next season as well?
Yeah, 100%. And like the thing for me with domestic cups specifically, to be fair, it goes for like mostly any tournament. Luck's got to be on your side, and we had a really good run this year in the Carabao Cup, despite the fact we played Premier League teams a lot, because we played Leicester, we played Crystal Palace, we played Southampton, all in the Carabao Cup. So Bournemouth, I think, possibly as well. So all in the Carabao Cup. So yeah, it was quite a hard run, but at the same time, it wasn't like we didn't get Man City or, do you know what I mean? Someone like that. So it look kind of goes on your side, especially in the domestic cups. So yeah, I would definitely like to target it, but for me, like a European trophy would be massive. Like it would be so massive for us. Just any trophy at this point. Like God, I sound like Spurs, but like any trophy at this point, like would be just like.
But you're in that situation because it's been so long since you've won a trophy. 110%. And
it's been got to be like 60 odd years or something.
Something crazy like that. And do you have a European trophy in your history?
Yeah, I think we do. Like a very early one, obviously, because as I say, like probably like 60 odd years. But yeah, I'm sure we've got European trophies, and I think it was like the Fairs Cup though. Before it was like
the Inter-Fairs Cup.
Yeah,
whatever that was.
Before it was like Europa League and things like that.
Because this is something we've discussed before, so I knew there was something. I know you have a couple of league titles, and then there's a couple of domestic cups, and then a European.
I think, to be fair, considering how like shit we've been for like God knows how long, right? We're actually still like the 8th or 9th most successful club based on trophies. Yeah.
Are you like that? I didn't realize you lot were that high. I'm saying in terms of the overall list. Hey, salute to Newcastle. I'm literally gonna check now. Yeah, let's start. See, we doing research, people. Always working.
I know. Look at this, educational.
Extremely. I'm looking here now because I've got it on. Let's see. So yeah, you won the league back. Yeah, you won the league. Yeah, 9th. Yeah, because you won the league back in like 1904, 05, 06, 07, 08, 09, and 26, 27. Then FA Cup, you won in around 1910, 1924, 1932, 1951, 1952, and 1955. Then the EFL Cup, just runners up a couple times. Yeah, that's crazy. And yeah, the Intertoto Cup, 2006.
Yeah, 2000.
For those that remember.
The picture of Scott Parker holding it, and it wasn't even like a cup, it was like a little glass.
Yeah, I remember the Intertoto Cup. That takes it back. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? The Intertoto. So you do have some, you got more Europe, yeah. You do. I'm saying have some more European heritage than Arsenal. So yeah, like that's something to hold on to. 100%. I'm saying like it is. And
I'll
Victor, I don't know
take
why
it.
you're asking this, but we'll get to it. Would you take Conor Gallagher for 40 million?
No.
See, there you go, Victor. You got your answer, and you are asking.
Sorry.
I seen Kendall tweeting about this, but we're gonna ask anyway. Big up to Jez. He says, question to Kendall: why is McTominay keep getting linked to Newcastle?
Jez, I want to know myself. Why? Please, why? Literally one letter, why? Because this is actually horrendous. I can't deal with it. Not right. No offense, because people be like, "Oh, you're on Newcastle, beggars can't choose." It's actually we can because we're literally like the richest club in the world, whatever you want to say. No, we don't. We just have the richest owners. But for me, it doesn't make any sense, right? You're gonna want at least a decent chunk of money, just based on the fact that he is a Manchester United boy. Is he United Academy? Graduate.
Yeah, he's come through the academy. Yeah. McTominay, he's through the academy. He came through the academy.
You're gonna want a big chunk of money because if he's gonna go to a rival, I put that loosely.
No. 10 million is yours, Kendall.
Yeah, you're right.
Why are you laughing? Yo, 10 million in it. Like that's a steal. 10 million. It's not like I said 10 mil and passes Bruno G. I said 10 million is yours. You know what I'm saying?
So and then again, I think he's so average. I just cannot. I've thought this for like years though. It's not like a new thing where suddenly he's linked to us and I'm like, oh my god, no, he's average. Like I just think he's so average. I don't think he's an upgrade on the team. I don't think he would get in the starting 11.
You don't know. You don't. He's not an upgrade.
Why would we pay a rival money for them to go and get a better player than we've got off them? I don't get that. It doesn't make any sense for me. And it's actually all I want to say is do not give Eddie Howe the reins to the transfer kitty. Leave it. Leave it alone.
How come you're not with that?
Leave it alone. I'm not with it because the players that we seem to be linked with through Eddie Howe is
Scott McTominay. Bear in mind, we almost took Longstaff from you. And I was hearing I was hearing the Longstaff, you'll be able to tell me this. I was hearing the Longstaff that we wanted wasn't even the better one. I was hearing his brother was better.
Matty was the better one at the time. Matty was the better one at the time, but I think Sean's obviously miles better now because Matty's been on like Aberdeen and then it got terminated and that. Yeah. So yeah, that's how good that's going. But he has got a season-ending injury at the minute. Like to be fair to him, but I just don't think the McTominay links make any sort of sense. Tierney, on the other hand, I completely get Kieran Tierney, and I would 100% have Kieran Tierney for a decent transfer fee. I would be quite happy with that transfer because obviously I've been on about fullback. He's got Premier League experience, and I just think he's a really decent fullback. But yeah, Mac Sauce, man, I'm not having Mac Ketchup. I'm just not dealing with that. I'm just not happy about that.
Nah, you shouldn't be. The fact that you called him average is being kind. Like he's below average. Like he doesn't improve Newcastle. He doesn't.
No,
and that's
this is what I mean. That's why it doesn't make any sort of sense. Yeah, it just doesn't make any sort of sense to spend that money on a player who does not walk in our starting 11 and doesn't improve the midfield. He's not even better than Sean Longstaff. He's not better than Willock. He's not better than Joe Linton. He's not better than Bruno. So who's he better than? What's the point in it?
You're right when you list that. That's the level of where he's at. Like the fact that he's no better than the players you want to get rid of. You know what I'm saying the players you're saying we need improvement on the Newcastle minus Bruno. He's not better than a Willock or a Joe Linton or Eva Longstaff. This is wild. You know what I'm saying? That's why when I seen you get linked with him, I was like, all right, take him.
I'm sure Man United fans are like, yes, get in.
100%. Like that's it. You know what I'm saying? That is absolutely it. And Ryan, because he loves selling Shelby just to get McTominay is a huge downgrade. Were you upset about selling John Joe Shelby, or was it more so that you didn't get a replacement, or was it time for him to move on?
I was gutted because I was gutted because I think John Joe Shelby's passing on his days unbelievable. It's genuinely unbelievable. But the problem is on his days 3 games and 35. Do you know what I mean? It's not not consistent. He's had a lot of injuries the last few seasons, and so I completely understood the transfer. I understood it more than I wanted to at the time. He wanted a new challenge. He wasn't going to get in the team probably over anyone else there at this point in time, and he just said he wanted a new start in his career, which I completely get. And again, we got 10 million for someone who we probably wouldn't have got any money for, and he was coming towards the end of his contract, so it was absolutely fine. But it was like a comfort blanket for me because he's been there for 7 years, 8 years, and he's seen everything that we've seen and been through everything we've been through, and been through relegations with us, and been through Rafa Benitez, been through Steve Bruce Ball. So it was like he was on an understanding level that the fans were. So it was like a massive comfort blanket for me. And I was gutted that he left, because we are starting to see those players go now. So it was almost like, oh, at times I would have drove you there myself, but now I'm like, oh. Like,
well,
I feel a
you
bit
got upgrade.
sad.
You got a better version of John Joe Shelby in Bruno G.
Yeah,
because he does
100%.
everything that John Joe Shelby does plus more, and he does it to a higher level. Like being like Bruno G still, like without question, I would. Switching it, obviously, for those that know, you have a Atletico Madrid, obviously a team that you also love as well. And Mohammed says, Kendall, do you still love / rate João Felix? Do you want to keep him at Atletico?
No, I don't want to keep him at Atletico anymore.
Interesting.
I would have till he went to Chelsea. Not even really till he went to Chelsea. It was a little bit before that. Probably since the start of the season, all he's done is whinge. Like a proper little baby. He was like, I didn't have a song at Atletico, now I have one at Chelsea. Like, wow, do something that causes you to have a song. You know what? I've been this guy's biggest support for so long. Like, so long. Yeah. I even went so far as to say that he is absolutely on par with the best technical youngsters in the world, like Mbappe, Haaland, like in terms of technical ability, because I did think he was, but he just wasn't applying himself. And what really angered me more than anything was that everyone was just blaming Diego Simeone, and people just were doing it without context. They were like, oh, free him from Simeone shackles, free him from Simeone ball, without understanding that he had 2 really long-term injuries the past 2 years that were actually only rehabilitated last summer. These are carrying on from Benfica days. He wasn't applying himself in training. He wasn't applying himself in matches enough to get a start of the likes of Carrasco or Llorente or Correa or anyone like that. He wasn't applying himself. And I think it's definitely an ego thing, because his brother's like annoying as well. His brother just like calls.
Wait, who's his bro? Is his brother his agent or something like that?
His brother's called Hugo. No, he's younger than him, but he's one of these weird social media people. Like, he likes cryptic like messages on Twitter and like talks down on the club and that. It's sort of weird. So
he's the Daisy Maguire to Harry Maguire. He's doing that.
Yes. Like it's never João Felix's fault. It's always the club's fault. So yeah, I think it's just for all parties. If we can get a decent sized amount for João Felix, or João Felix, if you want to be annoying about his pronunciation, then I'm absolutely quite happy to let him go. If we can get at least 80 million, I think everyone's kind of forgetting that his release clause is like 240 million euros.
Yeah, it's something crazy.
We're never getting that, obviously. But yeah, if we can get at least 80 million, then I think I don't see a reason why he should stay really at Atletico.
It's crazy that you saying that, because I was skeptical, even when he was linked to obviously Chelsea, he was linked to my club, Manchester United, and he was linked to Arsenal as well. Even though I know he's super talented, I was skeptical of him. Not for those reasons. It was more so his playing style and the lack of pace and power, especially in the Premier League. But to hear you say that, that's convinced me even more. Because even when I've watched him for Chelsea, technically brilliant, super talented, no doubt about it. The tricks, the flicks, skills. But to me, it's productivity. And then people, 100%. Like you mentioned, blamed Simeone's system. Is Simeone's system a part of that? Yes, but then that's the same system, and you'll know better than me, that Griezmann did so well in.
It's the same system that has literally produced the likes of the best forwards in world football for the last 10 years. Fernando Torres, Morata, whether you want to call him the best, but Morata, Falcao, Aguero, Griezmann, for example, like players like these. Yeah. And all of a sudden you can't be a forward in Simeone's system. It doesn't make sense to me, that, because it's literally he has created some of the best forwards over the last decade. So that didn't make any sense to me. And it was a really weird excuse. It was like, oh, free him from Simeone ball. I'm like, if you're a decent enough forward and you apply yourself in games and you understand where your role is in the system, in a Diego Simeone system, you thrive. Like you absolutely fine, but he just wouldn't, and that's the problem. His ego, he's obviously being fed because he's been such a high paid youngster for his age and for his experience. He's obviously being fed a lot from outsiders, probably from his own group and his own confidence, but he's just not, for me, you can't be like that, especially in a Atletico are probably the biggest team in world football, if that makes sense. They play as a team. They are a team system. It's not like a PSG, for example, where you've just got loads of really good superstars who are technically good, and then they just kind of win your games. They are a team. Like, no matter what, you've got to play the Cholo way of football. That's just how Atletico are under Diego Simeone. So if you're not going to be like that, you don't suit the club. It's as simple as that. And even though I love João Felix and I think he is such a good footballer, you're totally right. Efficiency, productivity, and decision making lack, and it's just it's something that unfortunately you can't be taught. Like, it's just not something that you can be taught. It's got to be instinct, and for me, he doesn't have that. So yeah, I think.
So you're saying AEM's gone. You're like, I'll sell him tomorrow for AEMs.
I'll be quite happy with AEMs, yeah.
Switching lanes. This is it, let me know. Would you take him at Newcastle, considering you need a striker?
Yes, I would, but only because, again, I think the way Eddie Howe's improved players, I would honestly take players now that I would never have looked twice at before. Like, Got you. Again, like, there's players like, for example, like Anthony Gordon. I was so against Anthony Gordon signing, but he played like 20 minutes and I was like, shit, like, he's actually really good. He's actually really good. And then like Dan Burn, for example, I just wouldn't have ever looked twice at Dan Burn, even when we were where we were, and he's just ended up being fantastic. Like, so yeah, there's probably players that I would take, but actually on the really, when I delve deeper in it, I probably wouldn't, just simply because he just doesn't fit. He's not a team player, and this is the issue. And what we have right now, you'll probably find it very similar at Manchester United. We are just so on the same wavelength. We are where we are because the team is so together, and that is the first time I've ever seen that, like, in a long time. So yeah, probably wouldn't fit really the culture and stuff at Newcastle, but footballing wise, I would take him still.
Okay, that's fair. And Alam says, would you keep him if the best offer was 60 million for João Felix?
Yeah, I think we need more than 16. Plus, we've just given him a long-term contract till 2026. So yeah, they're not taking 60. I wouldn't have said, unless, which I have heard, there's a swap deal going on. So apparently, there's like, it's like inside kind of talk with the sources, and a lot of reliable Atleti sources have said it, that there's apparently a swap deal with Lukaku kind of on the cards.
Really?
Yeah, and like, so it'll be like a chunk of money, João Felix for Lukaku, to go to Atleti. But whether or not that will happen, I don't know. But I'll be all right with that as well, really.
Wow, that's fair. Well, that's 110%. But yeah, I didn't realize that's pretty scathing what you said there of João Felix. Lukaku, though, would you like to see him go in?
I would take Lukaku again because I think European football is where he's best at. He doesn't suit the Premier League, as we've seen. He's tried it 3 times.
Chat going crazy, yo. Victor saying you're lying. Don't lie to me, Kendall.
No, I'm honestly, I'm genuinely not.
Please.
I'm genuinely not. But again, similar. He's a forward that would probably do well in a Simeone system. Because he's just a traditional forward. So they kind of seem to excel. And look, we got Memphis, and everyone was like writing Memphis off as well, and he's done really, really well. Unfortunately, he's probably now out for the rest of the season, which is just again friggin' typical. He got injured on international break, but yeah, he's Morata as well. He's come back and he's on fine form. Griezmann, who everyone thought career was kind of over after Barcelona, it just won La Liga Player of the Month. So I wouldn't mind Lukaku, really.
All right, that's fair. I'm sure that's music to the Chelsea fans' ears as well. Midway, big up for the super chat, says opinion on Carrasco. Is he still good? And he's a Barcelona fan asking that. Over to you, Kendall.
Again, yes, I think Carrasco is a good player. But similarly to João Felix, he's very much about himself. We saw him as, obviously, he went to China. I understand if it's money, if that's why you want to go and you want money from leagues like China and stuff, fair enough. But he did go to China and then came back and was all upset that the Atleti fans weren't happy with what he did. And I was like, you come on, you've got to have some common sense. You just got to have some sense of reality. Like, you're going to go away for more money, come back and act like everything's fine. Football fans are tribal and football fans are very sentimental. They're not going to like that. But on the surface, in terms of player-wise, yeah, I think he's good. He has fell off massively in the last 2 years to what he was, but I do still think that he's a decent footballer. But again, he's not someone I would be upset at leaving.
All right, that's fair. Man, I forgot, like I said, that not only do you know what I'm saying, Newcastle, Botswana leagues, also Atletico Madrid. So people get your question in. We have someone, it's a fountain of knowledge, of footballing knowledge all across the globe as
Well, I
well.
wouldn't go that far, like, but
I'm starting. Hey, you know more than me, and you know more than probably most of the chat as well. You lot continue to get your questions in. Over 50 of you lot. Let's bump up the likes though. Let's hit up them likes, people. Let's get up to 50 likes. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. We're legit closing in on 6K people. So let's make that happen in this stream. So let's get up to next subscriber mark 5,990. We're only looking for 3 new subscribers. I know there's at least 3 of you lot who haven't subscribed. Hit the subscribe button as well. And hey, just fuck you for calling me old because I remember the Intertoto Cup. You know what I'm saying? Let me just get
I
to
do
that.
as well, so I must be old.
Saying,
I'm like grandma's levels.
don't pay attention to these jokers. While we're on Atletico, what's Kendall's thoughts on Oblak? Yeah, obviously a goalkeeper.
A genuinely incredible goalkeeper. He's been one of the top goalkeepers for at least the last 6 years. He's just been on his levels don't drop. To be fair, the end of last season he did have a bit of a struggle, but you can't just be I keep saying this about everyone, you know, like people will say, oh, so and so's dropped off or whatever. You can't always be at 100% no matter what you are, because your body doesn't allow it. But yeah, he's incredible goalkeeper, absolutely incredible. I would love him at Newcastle. I would love Oblak at Newcastle. I think
so you take
he gets it
as
the
good
most.
as Pope's been. As good as Pope's been, you'd replace. Would you get rid of Pope to get in an Oblak? Do you think he's an upgrade on him?
I think he's an upgrade on Pope, but I do think Pope's been way better than I ever expected, like far better than I ever expected. But for me, Oblak is like on the levels of Edison, Alisson in terms of Premier League. So for me, yes, Oblak would be an upgrade. Like honestly, his stats are ridiculous. Like, it's like something stupid. Like he saved half of the shots that he's faced in his career. Like that's
crazy.
That's genuinely ridiculous. So it's something stupid like that, or like half of his. I can't remember the specific stat, but it was a few weeks ago I seen it. It always like half of the games that he's played have been clean sheets or something like something like stupid like that. So yeah, I think he's an upgrade despite the fact I think Nick Pope's been phenomenal. Like honestly, bargain, like genuine, one of the best bargains in recent times of football. £10 million. I think Nick Pope's been exceptional, but yeah, Oblak's a winner. He's won stuff, like, so he's got experience at the highest levels. So for me, I do still think it is an upgrade.
No, it's definitely upgrade. So would you suggest him? You said that he's with Edison and Alisson as well. Is he? Do you think is he good with the ball at his feet as well in terms of his distribution? Because I don't know what
he's probably not as good distribution wise, but shot stopping, which is kind of how we play football. We don't play out from the back like that from the goalkeeper because Nick Pope's not really that great at his feet. So for me, it would probably suit us. But just in terms of the level of goalkeeper that he is, yeah, I think he's definitely on that level 100%.
That's high praise. Because I was just thinking,
very
obviously
high praise.
United, De Gea is someone who divides opinion in our fan base. A goalkeeper I want replaced, and you're there saying that Oblak is that guy if he's on the levels of 100%. Edison and Alisson as well. It's definitely something else something to watch out for. Big up everyone in the chat as always. Like I say, great questions. You lot continue to get your questions in as well. But yeah, back to Newcastle. Obviously, we'll discuss it because we play you lot. It's United Newcastle. Yeah. So like this is kind of like a mini preview. We don't normally do them. So in regards to that, confident going into that game after the international break, anything you're worried about in regards to Manchester United, weaknesses for us? Like how are you looking at it?
I'm not confident just because again, I thought we played pretty well in the Carabao Cup final. I don't think we played badly. It wasn't like
you went bad. No.
It wasn't like, oh, we were so horrendous, like we just really deserved to lose 2-0. Like we actually played well. We just could, again, that was the problem at the time. We just couldn't score goals. We just genuinely could not score goals. And then it was just like really poor mistakes from us, and really efficient attack and press from Man United to win the game. So I'm not confident. And I'm not going into expecting us to win or anything, because actually our away form's better than our home form this season, or lately anyway. So
okay, I didn't know that.
We kind of, the problem was we didn't lose a game at home until Liverpool. So form-wise we were fine, but as of late our away form's been a little bit better. So yeah, I'm not massively confident again because the international breaks come at a really poor time, and then the likes of Almiron is now injured. We don't know if he's going to be fit at all. So it's just weird things like that. Ben Botman's obviously had a virus on an international break and stuff like that. So it's just, I don't know. We're either gonna continue the momentum and it's gonna come at a great time, or it's not. It's going to be really poor. But again, you guys haven't been the best lately of what I've seen this season. You guys are kind of on a not a poor run of form, but a poor run of play. I would say you haven't looked as strong, kind of play system wise as you have as of late. So maybe, I don't know, maybe it's a good time to play. And Casemiro's not there, which is
Casemiro is suspended. Yeah, Casemiro, no Eriksen as well. Like, who are key. Yeah, they're key to what we do. Both of those
really, really key. So that would obviously play in our favour because we pretty much. I'm hoping, God, touch wood, that we've got everyone mostly fit. Whether or not Eddie Howe just drops a ridiculous press conference on us tomorrow and says, "Oh, you know, so and so's out. Like, we've got 5 players missing." And I'm like, great. But yeah, I am looking forward to it. It's going to be like revenge time in it. But the last time we said that was against Liverpool, we got absolutely smashed all our so maybe don't want to go down that revenge route anymore.
That's it. Big up to Midway as well. Says, would you change left back if you could, or keep Dan Burn? We already discussed, but we'll go into this again. So yeah, would you change the left back, or would you keep Dan Burn?
Yeah, I would change it. I think Matty Targett's fine. I think Matty Targett will be fine as left back, but yeah, I wouldn't have Dan Burn there for much longer. Don't get us wrong. I think he's done a fantastic job. He's not a left back. Let's be honest, he's a centre back. But that's pretty much the reason why I wouldn't keep him there for any more period of time, because we just don't have that link up play down that left hand side as we would with Matty Targett, because he's a lot more attack minded.
Got you.
And he's better kind of running down the wing, down the channels than Dan Burn is. Dan Burn's just better defensively than Matt Targett. So yeah, I would change it.
Yeah, there you go. And Midway, big up for the super chat as well. Appreciate it. James says, bit of Flawless and Kendall, big up. Large up everyone that's still locked in. Off of the Newcastle thing for a second. On to the title race. Arsenal, Manchester City. Who do you think wins the league title?
Arsenal for me. I've said it from probably October. I've backed Arsenal. I just think everyone's waiting for them to fail. Like, they test after test after test, they're passing it every single time. Obviously Everton aside and things like that, but they're passing it pretty much every single time with ease as well. Like, they're having high scoring games nearly every game. They've just been fantastic for me. So yeah, I think it'll be Arsenal. But I do also think it'll be the worst thing ever if they win the league. Like,
talk about it.
Worst crack. Like, honestly, the other day, someone had tweeted, I can't remember who it was now, but he was like, we were battling with someone. I can't remember what player it was now. And it was like, oh, Arsenal and Newcastle are interested and are competing for a free signature. I can't remember what player it was now. It was just like a crap sauce anyway. And an Arsenal fan had been like, well, that's not a competition, is it? And I was like, Bruno,
you have money.
Isaac. There's like literally like three or 4 players in the last few years that we've took off you. So I was like, fair enough, Arsenal, more successful club, like bigger club if you want to go down that route. But I hate that argument. Because I mean, look, Stockport County's big to someone. Do you know what I mean? So I hate the
shout out
big
to anyone
argument.
watching from Stockport.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? But carry on,
man. But so yeah, I don't like that argument, but I was just like, oh, do you know what? I've backed yous all the way. I've genuinely backed yous to win the league. So I think it'll be like just a nice change, but it'll be the worst thing that happened to like.
Facts. That's why I don't know why you
social media, like,
yes, unbearable.
I'm just gonna have to leave. I'm just gonna have to go on holiday. And
we are gonna have to leave because
it'll just be like Arsenal
unbearable. Yes, unbearable. 110% if them lot manage to win the league.
You know what? I'll back it, right? Honestly, I do back it. Like, take your flowers, enjoy them. Like, build a meadow, do what you want with them flowers. But yeah, everyone else is just gonna have to leave you to it for a few weeks, I think.
So what do you? So do you think it's because Arsenal have won? Because, like you said, they keep passing tests and people have expected them to crumble. That's where you look at it and go, yeah, that's why they'll get over the line. Is it that? Is it that, like, that improvement they've made first?
100%. It's just that desire. Like, everything they do, they go out to win a game every single time. And I know that's kind of like that's like a Michael Owen comment. Like, obviously you go out to win a game of football, but sometimes you don't. Sometimes teams go into a game. We used to do it a lot under the previous manager, where we would go in, it would just be like damage limitation every single time.
Yeah,
we would never actually go into a game to win it. It would just be like, right, kind of keep the scores low as you can, lads. You know what I mean? If you can get a draw, great. But Arsenal just go in to win a game. They do it strongly. They do it convincingly, pretty much every single time. To be fair, they've actually lost as many games as we have this season, which is like I don't know if that's good for us or what. We've both, I think, lost 3.
Yeah, you're right. I'm looking here. Yeah,
yeah.
you both lost 3 games. Yeah. It's the
So
draws that have killed you lot. But yeah, go on, carry
exactly,
on.
that's the problem. But yeah, I think every single time someone's waiting for them to crumble or waiting for them to fail a test, they haven't, and they've just looked so good. And honestly, Bukayo Saka, I don't have like superlatives to explain how good of a footballer he is. And I know that I was being going like, oh, is he world class and stuff? I think he's operating at world class level right now. Whether you want to call him world class or not is different, because some people want to say, you know, longevity, he needs to be operating at this level for 2-3 years for the call him world class. Fair enough, I understand the arguments, but at this point in time, he is operating at a world class level. I think he's one of the best players in Europe at this moment in time, and I think he's honestly such a good footballer. But again, similar to what I've just said to you about both of our teams, their teams are together. The team is like, they all have a goal and they're all working towards it, and everyone's on the same wavelength and everyone knows what they're working towards. And for me, that is like, you cannot beat that in football, especially when it is so competitive. You need that extra like cutting edge, and I just think they've got it. And to be at the top of the league all that time, go down to second and then still be that many points clear again the second time of trying, I just think they've got to win it. And if they don't, I do think it'll be horrendously disappointing for them. Horrendously.
Yeah, it will be. If they don't win it, the conversations afterwards are going to be hilarious.
Oh my
like
God.
if they don't win it, as much as I despise
the
both teams, I don't
revisionism
want
is going to be
say
off the charts.
it'd be crazy if they don't win it. Like the content, like after that, like comment sections, content creators, whether you support Arsenal or not, social media, like the conversations that will be had, even in mainstream media, where, like when you're back on Sky, though that conversation is going to be nuts.
Football fans are so fickle on that. That's what we are. We're just so flip floppy, like, and no one more than Arsenal fans. Like, I remember last season, well, not last season, but the season before, it was like 1 week it was Arteta in, 1 week it was Arteta out, and it was just so funny. And this time, I've seen it a little bit with the Europa League, obviously when they got knocked out of the Europa League, because everyone was expecting them to win it, right? And even Arsenal fans were. And then it was like, oh, but it'll be a good thing because they can focus on the league. I was like, you literally weren't saying that yesterday when you had a chance to win it. Like, you literally were not saying that yesterday. But it's not just them. We're all like that as football fans, I think, at times.
100%, because we bias to our own teams. But switching from the top of the table to the bottom of the table, of course, as a Newcastle fan, you've been in like seeing your team in relegation bouts. I mean, relegation dogfights. And it's so, this is the way I'm looking at the table now. I haven't seen a table like this in terms of years, because normally by this time, April, March,
someone's
April,
adrift.
Someone's caught adrift. Yeah, you already know someone's caught adrift, but literally from 20th place Southampton up to 12th place Crystal Palace is 4 points. It's literally 8 teams who are all in a relegation fight. You got Southampton, then Bournemouth, West Ham. They're the bottom 3. Then it's Leicester, Forest, Everton, Leeds, Wolves, and then Crystal Palace in 12th place. Like I said, literally 4 points in between those 8 teams. Who are the 3 teams you think are going down and why?
I think Southampton. Just again, they've kind of been there. I know it is really close, but they've been pretty much stuck to the bottom of the table for like months now. It's just such a hard place to get out of, like when you're in that situation, even though it is so close in terms of points. If you're at the bottom, it's just so hard to get out of it. Like one goal like puts you off it. It's just really bad. For me, I think it'll be Bournemouth, Southampton. I think it'll be Southampton bottom, then Bournemouth, and then I hope Everton. But I think it could be Leeds at this point.
I hope it's Leeds. I hope you're right. I hope it's Leeds. They've been
oh yeah, you guys have like a history of Leeds, don't you?
Yeah. Like that's the whole War of the Roses, Lancashire versus Yorkshire. People do your like this is long before football. Like you gotta go back to Tudor times for like this beef is like ancient. You know what I'm saying? Like a long time, a long time. People like ancient beef. So it's kind of like I can't stand Leeds. So you got Southampton, Bournemouth. And you're saying you hope Everton, boy, will be Leeds. Why do you hope it will be Everton? What happened with you lot and Everton?
So when we got relegated a few years ago, because I think it was because Rafa was our manager, but it wasn't even his fault at the time. We were already gone by February at this point. Again, as we said, a team's caught adrift. It was us, and we were gone at February under Steve McLaren at that point. Weirdly, who's now your assistant coach, one of the coaches.
Yeah, that's our legend, man. Shout out Steve McLaren and that.
So yeah, and because of Rafa, we played them really close towards the end of the season, and they did like a big banner, like stop on the Tyne and that when we got relegated. It was just so random because we did not care about them at the time. We were never in a like rivalry with Everton ever. But since then, there's just been like a tribalist rivalry, and our fans have hated each other and our clubs have hated each other, and there's always been like issues. And I think it's because they are kind of the Sunderland of Liverpool. Like they're the second club, they're the lesser club, like they're, do you know what I mean? Like I think, and they love Sunderland. They love Sunderland, and them as Sunderland fans like that's like really weird. It's like a proper bizarre incestual relationship.
Why Everton and Sunderland cool?
Exactly. I think it's like a mutual hatred of Newcastle. It's just so weird. So yeah, so
right, got you.
So they love each other now. And then obviously when we've got Gordon off them, they were absolutely raging with that. And so yes, it's just gone on from them. And I just can't stand them. The club I just think are awful. The fans are awful. So yeah, I would absolutely I would revel in them going down. And it really annoyed me last season because we lost to them away at Anfield, I was going to say, at Goodison 1-0, and it really, I thought about that result literally till the end of the season. I could not get it off my mind. Every time I read about football, I was like, oh my God, I still can't believe we lost one. And they stayed up as well by like minimum points, and I just thought, oh, it's half of it's our fault because we give them 3 points and it really annoyed us. So yeah, I would love to see Everton going down. No offense
it's not even no offense. I respect the pay because I'm with that. I didn't know that there was a Newcastle Everton thing. I had no idea.
It's one of them. It's like one of them weird, like non-rivalries that have just become a fan rivalry over the last few years.
Yeah, and I never knew about Everton and Sunderland liking each other.
And that's why I always call Everton the Scouse Mackhams, because if anyone doesn't know, Sunderland's nickname, obviously we're like the Geordies, Sunderland and Mackhams. And so I always call Everton the Scouse Mackhams because they are literally like the Scouse version of Sunderland. So yeah,
that is crazy. But speaking of that, staying in Merseyside, because you mentioned it when I asked you originally the first question about top four, you said Liverpool, but we'll get onto them. So what is it with Liverpool that you don't like?
The fans.
Apart from Ryan, of course. Yeah.
This is
Ryan's
the thing,
in
right?
there. Yeah. It's the likes of Ryan.
No.
Go on, carry on.
To be fair, I love Ryan. And do you know what? I like Straw is one of my closest friends, and I love Straw. And
Straw my guy. Yeah. Straw I hear.
Straw's
Ryan
the best.
definitely
And
not.
so to be fair, it's not like a whole fan base thing, because I love someone like Ramel. I love Monts. Like Liverpool fans, amazing people, and some of the most realest people I've met on YouTube, like Jerry and G and Ish and everyone like that. But social media Liverpool fans are horrible, like actually horrible. And again, that's not club specific, because a lot of clubs have horrible social media fans.
My fan base does.
For me, that Liverpool fans, especially when I was going through, it's not as bad now. I don't know whether it's because I'm more used to it or it's because I'm not as active as I was during lockdown on social media. But when I was going through a really heavy abusive stage, like on social media, it was Liverpool fans, and it always has really stuck with us. And like they've said some just horrible things, and like it's always like woe is me, like Liverpool have got injuries and all this, and it's just so annoying. It's like literally just so annoying. So that's why it's not even necessarily the club, because I honestly think the club's is fine. I think the club's great. And again, as I said, early 2000s, when it was my favorite era of football, like between like 2004 to like 2010, I was a massive fan of Liverpool, like a massive fan of Liverpool players. I loved Rafa Benitez, and I was so glad we had him as a manager at my club. Xabi Alonso is in my all-time top 10 favorite footballers, and so is Fernando Torres. So for me, like, I liked Liverpool then, but I just, the fans are just annoy the life out of us. But I'm pretty sure people probably think that about me, about my club, and about every other club. So, again, it's not club specific, but it's just a personal experience.
Personal. But people always, when you doing anything and you're having a level of success, that's why people gonna hate. You know what I'm saying? Because I see some of the acts and nonsense you get. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, this is outrageous. Like, yo, just go about your business.
Yeah. Weirdly, it's been Liverpool fans and my own club fans. They were the two that I got the worst abuse from, really bizarrely. Yeah,
because people will be like, oh, yeah, you talking for the club. It's like, no, I'm just giving my opinion.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, it's also jealousy.
It's just weird. It's just weird. Luckily, as I said, it's not... I do still get it, but I think I'm just way more adjusted to it now, and it doesn't bother me. I don't respond. I literally used to respond to every single nasty comment that I got to, like, and I used to argue with people, because I used to think, like, who do you think you are to talk to me like that? You don't even know us. But now I just let people talk themselves, and just I think that just annoys people more. Yeah.
Hit that mute button. That's what it is. Godsend 100%. On Twitter. hit the mute button and let people talk to themselves. Like that's what it is.
I'm much better at dealing with it now. But oh my god, when I first started doing social media, like 2020, end of 2020, I hated it. I just couldn't deal with it. I mean, I did like documentaries with the BBC and stuff, and with Mel, the Tottenham fan, if anyone
remember that.
knows
Mel. Of course, everyone knows. We've done all Brighton, Fulham, and their man for those that don't know. Yeah. That's Mel.
Yeah, so we did like documentaries and stuff on it because it got that bad that it was actually like getting like genuinely noticed by like media outlets. So yeah, but now I'm much better at dealing with it, and I know how to approach. If I'm going to make a comment, I know how to approach it now, so people can't like add context to it and like twist what I've said.
Yeah,
so I always
you're very particular.
A little bit of a disclaimer now. Yeah, I'm very particular with how I put myself on social media now, but it shouldn't be like that. But it's the game, unfortunately. You've just got to get used to it and all the little football Twitter incels.
That's what I'm saying, because they're only on there. That's why it's good that you have your own channel and you go on other channels as well, and you can then state, because then you can have a long form conversation and make a statement and then break down what you mean by it. With 140 characters or however many characters is on Twitter, you can't, it's hard, you know what I'm saying? And people can't guess sarcasm or guess when you're joking when you're saying certain things as well. Plus, then people want to take you out of context. Miserable people.
Very true.
I haven't afford to do that. Never. And Midway says Ryan can't even catch a break outside of shame. That's who she was talking about. Kendall's just too polite. You know what I'm saying? She's talking about Ryan. You know what I'm saying? We all know it. You know what I'm saying? You man act like I'm crazy in the chat.
It tells you everything about Ryan, because the only player that I know he rates is Shelby.
John Joe Shelby. He was like, oh, when Newcastle get taken over, they're going to monopolize possession with John Joe Shelby. Now he's at Nottingham Forest, mate. And you don't even play for them. What are we doing? Why is this? You know what I'm saying? People act like it's just me. We all know but like I said, you know what I'm saying? Kendall, one, is too nice to say Ryan, and two, she's not streamed with him for long enough. Give her an hour on a stream and she'll be like, oh yeah, I get it.
A man with taste, Ryan, innit? Man with taste.
I mean, he's a man with no taste. You know what I'm saying? That's what he is. You're a fucking comedian. He's probably he was in the chat before the joke, man. Absolute idiot. I was saying, but yeah, people. Before we close out, get your final few questions in. We hit 50 likes. Big up to you lot. Hit the subscribe as well. We're only looking for 2 more, man. Get us to 5,990. Then we'd be 10 away from 6K people. So I will promise to do a 6K party as well, because you lot criticized me because I didn't do a 5K party. So make sure you hit the subscribe button as well. Hassam's cool. You know what I'm saying? And that he's just a troll. That's what it is. But Hassam's mad cool. He knows what he's doing. He's very intelligent. He's very smart. He's just a troll. But you can't troll a troller. You know what I'm saying? Like, I see the bullshit on my love. Can't troll a troller. But yeah, back to Newcastle. You didn't actually give your prediction on the game on Sunday. So prediction on the game. It's all good.
I always say this. I hate predictions to win, because then if we lose, I'm like, this is crap. And then if predictors to draw, people are like, oh, you need to back your team more. Like, do you know what I mean? Peter's just so like, you know, one of these things where it's like, if you're realistic, people call you negative. Then if you're delusional, people call you like flip flop. Like, no. So if you're positive, people call you delusional. But yeah, 2-2 draw.
Saying 2-2 draw. You reckon it'll be 4 goals? Okay, 4 goals in the game. I love
4 goal thriller. Give me something. I've had to watch international football these last 2 weeks. You better make it worth my while to go to St. James Park on Sunday. Otherwise, I'm going to be in a mood. I'm going to be in a mood. So you better give me something to go for. Simple as that, guys.
About a 5 goal thriller and we win 3-2. There we go.
No, I would not like that.
All right,
as long as it's a thriller, a goal thriller in my way, in my behalf, I would like that.
Oh, so you want a 5 goal thriller in your end?
Yes, that would be lovely.
We don't need that, man. Like, that's all good. We got.
I mean, 7 might be nicer.
No, you got jokes. Look at this, innit? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you got jokes. Yeah, hilarious, innit? What Carabao Cup for you lot, innit? You know
he's going to cut that whole nice thing that he said just at the beginning, of the stream. Now he's like,
strip
look
that
at
out
this. I've got this honestly awful girl in here. She doesn't know.
Facts. Just taking shots. 7, you
You're
know.
Just going to dub it over.
It's outrageous. You lot, make sure you subscribe to Kendall's channel as well. Make sure you do that. And to Alam, yes, he says, Kendall, if you're unfamiliar with the channel, many of the regulars here go on loan to other clubs as fans when their clubs are shit. That's happened. And I'm going to get your thoughts on Chelsea as well. He says, what's a fun club in the Botswana League to go on loan to? Is there one that stands out for you?
I haven't specifically actually watched it. I've just looked at the names. So just pick it. There's some fantastic names in there. Alam, like, you can probably find a name that you associate with. I might look at you a bit differently if it's Police 11.
Yes.
But other than that, I'm all right with it. Yeah, you can probably choose a good. You can be 11 Angels.
Right.
There's
You got Gunners. There's 11
Holy
Angels,
Ghost.
Holy
There's
Ghost. Yeah.
Gunners. Yeah, there's Rollers. So yeah, you can probably pick a decent club in there. Pick a one that's good at the top, and then you might not be. You'll be a little bit less disappointed.
There you go, Alam. Because rather than be mid-table as the Chelsea fans have, because Victor said there's no need to save your time. Nah, we're gonna get that. We're gonna get Kendall's thoughts on the car crash and everything that's gone on with Chelsea, from having Thomas Tuchel to the sacking, the reasons to allegedly as to why he got sacked, then to Graham Potter. Even though you are now in the quarterfinals of the Chelsea are in the quarterfinals of the Champions League, spending 600 million in January, still remaining 10th. What have you made of it all that's going on at Chelsea?
It's all just a bit of, it's like Nottingham Forest on a higher scale. Just get 22 new players in. Just the best players you can possibly afford at the time. Hijack every single deal you can think of. Hijack the Mudryk deal. Hijack the João Felix deal. Just hijack every single thing you can think of, and then not have your own transfer targets, and then just hope for the best. And you know, Harry Potter, bless him. I do. I did rate him as a coach. I did rate him as a coach, and I do still think he is a good coach. But he's just out of his depth. He should never. And I know at the time you think, oh, he's like on probably 10 times more money than he ever was on. His budget is now off the chart, off the scale. He can work with any player that he probably wants to. He's in Champions League. You know, I get it, but he's just so out of his depth, and it was just a massive step up. Like, I know you've got to progress in your career, and kind of when you manage a team like Brighton, what is the next step? A top 6 club, probably. I get that.
Spurs, though.
But
it's a Spurs.
Well,
which
yeah,
is going down.
gone to Spurs, yeah. But I just think he's just so out of his depth. And then obviously it all happened at a really bad time because there was a takeover, there was new personnel, there was obviously the new players coming in, and it, especially when the fans had such an affinity to Thomas Tuchel, I just think it was, no matter what happened and who came in, I just think it would have been a difficult job anyway. So, and Chelsea fans are one of the most, I understand why, because you've had success in recent years and you've had success under Abramovich, but they are some of the most ungrateful, like,
you, Victor,
what's
she's
the
talking
word?
about you and the rest. Go on.
I want to, like, the word, they expect so much all of the time. And, like, you just got to accept at this stage that you're not at the level that you maybe want to be. But until you accept that, you're going to be disappointed. That is just the facts of the matter. Like, until you accept that it's going to take a little bit of time to get where you think that you should be and to get back in the Champions League, to get back to the top of the league, it's going to take time. You've just got to accept it. And I know it's hard when you've, well, I don't know personally because we've not won anything in my lifetime. But from an outside point of view, I understand it'll be hard when you've had success and you want that instantly. It's like instant gratification, but you just, football, especially in the situation that you're in, it's not like that. You're not going to get that. So the problems for me run way deeper than Graham Potter. Right. And I, luckily at the moment, I am seeing a bit more of a system under Graham Potter. Under Tuchel, I'm not joking, I think Tuchel's a fantastic coach, but oh my God, at the end I was like, what are they even doing? Like, what is this team even trying to do here? And I am not in any way, shape or form a football coach. I've not stepped foot on the sideline of a football pitch unless as a spectator. And even I could see that there was no system. I don't think anyone knew what was going on. Weird signings like Aubameyang was just a weird signing. Because
Aubameyang was a strange one.
Like, just strange. But yeah, I do. There's some fantastic quality in that team, especially obviously now Nkunku's going to be coming in the summer, and yeah, there's some fantastic quality. But you've just got to accept the reality of the situation, and it's unfortunate, but it's just the way it is. And until you do that, you're just going to be always disappointed.
Hey, Chelsea fans, hold that. You know what I'm saying? Hold that. And I kind of mentioned it, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I love that's what Sarcasm City is built on. You know what I'm saying? Like, taking shots at other teams. I love to see it. They crying in the chat. Hold that. You might have intent. But I mentioned it in regards to that, the quarterfinals that Chelsea are in. 2 questions. Who do you think makes to the final, Champions League final? Because we know everybody's potential route now. And who do you think wins the competition?
So, obviously, who is it? Man City, Bayern, Real Madrid,
so we got
Chelsea.
Manchester. Yep, they're on one side, and then the other side is
Napoli
versus Inter, and then I think it's AC Benfica. Let me double check that. I think it's that.
So for me, again, Bayern Munich, they had a bit of that was just a bizarre sacking as well. They've obviously got rid of Nagelsmann.
AC Milan, Napoli, sorry, Inter Benfica.
Oh, right, okay.
My bad.
So for me, I honestly think Napoli have a really good chance this year. Like, really good chance. They're probably the most on-form team in Europe this year, other than Arsenal. I think they've had a fantastic season. So I think Napoli get through. I think Inter get through. I think Man City get through, and I think Real Madrid get through. Those quarters.
So your semi-finals are Manchester City versus Real Madrid, and then so you've got Bayern getting knocked out, Thomas Tuchel going out, and then you've got Napoli versus Inter Milan. They're your two semi-finals. So your two winners from those semi-finals.
And then I think it'll be Man City Napoli final.
Who do you think wins the final?
See, again, that's hard. Depending on how the league goes, if Pep is nowhere near getting the league, like nowhere further to get in the league, obviously I know it'll be roughly like around the same time. But if he's literally like Arsenal won the league or whatever, then he's going to go all out the Champions League. But the problem is with Pep, and we have seen it, his whole tenure at Man City, he overthinks the biggest games of his career every single time, and it's always his downfall. But this time he's got Haaland, which he has not had for obviously since Aguero, a striker in the likes of Haaland. So, Man City win Champions League.
Okay. Let's hope you're wrong on that. I don't need City winning the Champions League, but I hear you. I'm saying I don't need that. I do see Napoli getting through. My pick is Real. I've said this. I think it'll be a Real Madrid-Napoli final. I think Real Madrid win it again. I think they'll do the business.
They could do, because again, they're just one of them. They're one of them bloody teams. They'll have a really crap season. They'll still do well in Europe. It just does me head in. I can't stand it. It's one of them annoying situations. But But the thing is with Real Madrid, they've like in the league, they've looked quite poor. But in Europe, look what they did to Liverpool. Let's be fair. So
destroyed.
Yeah, it could be anyone from that. But yeah, Real Madrid, Napoli could easily see that.
I
but I do think
this.
Napoli will be in the final.
Yeah, and I know you do have dislike for Real Madrid because of your Atletico Madrid ties as well. So that's where that stems from.
Yeah.
So it must be sickening to see Real Madrid just picking up Champions Leagues.
They always do it. Always. Luckily, me hate is not actually that deep for them. Like, would be if I grew up like an Atletico fan. I think it's more for me with Real Madrid specifically. It's more like admiration because they are such like. They're just like obviously like Galacticos, even in Europe, just in general, like across historically, like the most decorated like European club and stuff. So it's more admiration, I think. But again, I think if I'd actually followed Atleti for like a significant time, like since I was a really, really young kid. I mean, I followed them since I was 9, to be fair. But yeah, I think the hatred's it's a little bit less than what it would be if it was like my first team, I guess.
Yeah, it's not like your hatred for like a Sunderland or a Middlesbrough.
No, nah.
Evan.
Definitely not.
So you're enjoying Sunderland's plight, I'm guessing.
I'm absolutely loving it. I'm loving every second of it. Do you know what? Everyone's always like, "Oh, do you not want Derby days back?" No, no, I don't. Absolutely not. Facts. What is wrong with you? Or why would you want to put yourself through that stress? You just wouldn't, because you know what's going to happen, and you know the narrative. No, I'd rather have another Derby day, never again in my life. I'd rather just not.
See, you singing from the same hymn sheet as me, because I say the same thing. Singing from the same exact hymn sheet. I say the exact same thing. Forget derbies. If we're going to meet them, we'll meet them in a cup. Carabao Cup, FA Cup. And beat them then. I don't need that 2-day-a-year stress that is inevitably going to be there. I just don't need that. No, that's facts. Are they in League One currently right now? Are they in Championship?
No, they're actually in Championship now, yeah.
Oh, they're in the Championship, so obviously you'll be watching their results, hoping they don't get promoted.
I laugh, right? Because still to this day, I don't even know if we should do it, but at the Newcastle games, all the results get read out at half time, and they always still read Sunderland results out. Like, even though they're like not in the remote, like the same league or anything, but yeah, they always still read Sunderland's results out at half time. So it's always like if they're losing, it's always like a way.
Nah, it makes sense. I see that. I respect that within football, even when it's against my club. Like, I want the rivals to dislike me. Like, that's what this is built on. Like, you don't want to see like, oh, you want your rivals to do. No, I wish them nothing but when Leeds were away in the Championship for 16 years, I checked their results every weekend. I wasn't trying to see Leeds back. And now they're back. I'm like, you should have been. People, you miss it. No, I want them back in the Championship.
That's like, you know, when people say like my granddad used to say, oh, I want Liverpool to do well because I'm an English team. This is like in the Champions League. And he's like, no, I want them to literally get absolutely bad. Why would I hate a team week in, week out in the Premier League and then suddenly want them to do well in Europe? Like, no, I'm backing any club that is against them. Any club that is against an English team.
Like, see, again, singing from the same hymn sheet. That's exactly what I'm on. I'm like, I need Chelsea and who's the other? I need Chelsea and Manchester City to go
exactly.
so I can enjoy the Champions League in peace.
Facts.
Let me watch the semi-final. I've not been able to watch the Champions League in peace for a long time. I've been emotionally invested. I'm saying I've seen City and Liverpool and Chelsea all in the last stages and 2 of them winning. I'm like, no, let's get Chelsea out, let's get City out, and then boom, I can watch this in peace.
Exactly.
I can live stream it without being, you know what I'm saying, under a lot of stress. Right? That's what it's for. See, we're on the same way. You on my thought process. I get it. I knew there's some people who are still on the same wavelength. Absolutely. But Kendall, anything else you want to add in regards to Newcastle that we've not discussed? Maybe something you want to touch on?
No, nothing at all. Just lovely season. It's actually the first season I've enjoyed as a football fan for a long time, which is lovely. Absolutely beautiful. Did not enjoy last season because obviously so much was on the line. But yeah, just nice to actually coast through a season, because now this is like an anomaly season because the expectations aren't there. So no one's expecting us to do anything. No one's expecting us to get Europe. There's no pressure on us to get Europe. Like, we're fine, we're just coasting. Whereas from next season, there's going to be immense pressure on us to do well. So yeah, I'm actually just going to enjoy every second of this season, and then the stress and horrendous.
See, we're on the same wavelength with that. I've just enjoyed this season. This is the first time I've enjoyed a season in a long time. 100% first, probably in over 10 years, probably since then.
Yeah, same for me. I always used to say that Rafa Benitez's season in the Championship was my last favourite season. But again, there was so much on the line with that because you have to get out of the Championship first time of trying, otherwise you kind of just get stuck there. So again, that was like, there was so much on the line. So this season, there's just nothing. We're just there. We're doing well. We've had a cup final, which I've loved. And yeah, I'm just sorry to everyone like Chelsea fans and that in the comments who hate it.
Who are hating their lives. Hold that, man. They hate their lives. They're always on the stream complaining.
I'm enjoying mine.
Yeah, I'm enjoying mine. They're like, why are you always smiling? Why are you so happy? It's been a good season. They're like, sure, man. We don't want to hear from you. I'm like, enjoying the season. Like, it's always like, hold that. Big up to Broderick Fall as well. Says a bit late to this party. Seems like, yeah, another W stream. Sarcasm City. Big up, Kendall. Salute to you as well. Don't forget, people, link for the membership is in the pinned comment as well, people. The Sarcasm City TV specials, if you've enjoyed them, there is a playlist for them on the channel, so you can see this one back and others as well. Like I said, I had rants on yesterday, Troops was on the day before. I got 2 more coming up tomorrow, so one at 2:30 p.m, one at 6 p.m. It's the biggest and best content creators as always. Victor in the chat, hold that as well. But Kendall, and let them know where they can find you as well. Let them know where they can find you and all the stuff that you've got coming up as well.
Yeah, so it's just Kendall Rowan on every single social you can think of. Twitter's got an X on the end because some random civilian has got my @ I don't know how. But yeah, so just Kendall Rowan, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Twitch, which I do not use. I probably should use YouTube and Twitch a little bit more than I do. But I don't. TikTok, anything like that, you'll find me there. My face is hanging about at the moment on a Sky advert. I have still not seen it. I just keep getting messages every few days being like, I've never seen it. I don't, honestly, there's been 2 this year and I've not seen either of them. I just keep getting told about it. So yeah, I probably see it there. Obviously Overlap, we'll be doing an end of season episode of the Overlap as well, which should be good depending on what happens. So keep an eye out for that. But yeah, thank you for having me as always. And obviously everyone, make sure you subscribe to Sarcasm City. I'm pretty sure everyone here has probably already done that, but make sure you do, because honestly, these guys put out content daily, constantly. Like, the work rate is just immense, and it always has been since I've known them. So yeah, please do that on my behalf.
Love for the kind words, Kendall. Make sure, like you said, you lot follow Kendall Rowan across all socials. So on your Instagram, TikTok, so there, Kendall Rowan X on Twitter. So make sure you're following her. Subscribe to her channel as well. The link's in the title. You literally click the link in the title. It'll open up a new tab. You can subscribe to Kendall's channel and you'll find all her socials there. You definitely need to get back making more content.
I know, as much as
I do. You're on Sky Overlap and doing big things on Sky Overlap and in adverts and on the television screen, and you know what I'm saying, and commentating on games. People miss the content. So it's like you need to get back to it.
I
110%.
do actually miss it as well. Like I used to love doing live streams and stuff and watch alongs, but I went back to work last March, like full time, like actual day job, and I've just found it so hard to like get back into content because the 2 years prior, like I wasn't doing anything. I was at home, so it's just I found it so hard to like balance work and like my social life and my daughter and content. I just found it so hard, so I did actually step away from content for a little bit, but I've got the bug back again now. Maybe it's because we're actually doing good. No one wanted to hear me do 5-minute rants about Steve Bruce last year. Like no one wanted to
I was with that. That was great content. I was with that. I don't know what you're talking about. It was great content.
Like every week you're like, oh frig, I've got to do it. Sad content.
I see Kendall more on Sky that I see my cousin says Victor.
No.
Facts. You know what I'm saying? All the time.
So yeah, but I will try and get on YouTube a little bit more.
Yeah, even if it's once a month, just do something. Like I say, the people would miss 100%. Your subscribers would love to hear from you. Big up to Max says Elite Ball Knowledge. Thanks for the stream, Flawless and Kendall. Big up, man. Large up everyone who's locked in. Big up to everyone who continues to support as well, people. Don't forget this show, all the specials, all the other shows on the channel, apart from watch alongs, are available on audio only platforms. So if you want to listen on SoundCloud, Spotify, iTunes, wherever you listen to podcasts, just type in Sarcasm City TV and it will pop up, because you might not want the YouTube app open. You might be working, you might be cooking, you might be cleaning, you might be driving, or you might just prefer to take your podcast, listen to your podcast in that manner, which is absolutely fine. But yeah, man, big up to everyone who's locked in. We're back, like I said, on the YouTube. We're back 2 specials tomorrow. So like I said, 2:30 p.m. UK time and then 6 p.m. UK time, all on the upcoming live stream schedule. We're back tonight on the Twitch. I need to shout out the man them FIFA 23 Pro Clubs over on the Sarcasm City TV Twitch. So I'm literally going to contact everyone and try to get the gang together. But yeah, man, love to everyone that's locked in. Big up. And this has been the Sarcasm City TV special with special guest Kendall, live on the Sarcasm City TV YouTube. Big up.